Good afternoon, Madam National President. Hello. Good afternoon, Dr. Kechi.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, ma.
The national president was here a few minutes ago. She's just waiting
I'm
for
still
people.
here, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Dr. Evo,
Welcome,
12, we can start. Let me just send out the link to remind people that we are about starting. Good afternoon, Mars.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Evo, you can start. Dr. Evo, you can start.
Okay, ma'am. So we are on now. Make sure we're recording. Great. So good afternoon, Madam National President, Dr. Minimi Moseji. Good afternoon, our esteemed M1 past President and Board of Trustee member, Dr. Kechi Ogwagu. Good afternoon, our former Minister of Health, Dr. Prof. Adenike Grange, all M1 elders present, M1 NEC members, NMA elders, and all sisters and colleagues present. I welcome you all to the April edition of the Economic Empowerment of Medical Women. This promises to be exciting as usual. If you remember, in February, we had the past M1 President and Board of Trustee member who also taught us on economic empowerment of medical women, and it was explosive. I don't expect this to be different. So I advise that we all sit back, fasten our seatbelts, tell everyone who is not here that they should come on now so they don't miss out at all. So we're just going to call on Dr. Yagana to take the opening prayer. Dr. Yagana, ma, please, can you unmute yourself and take the opening prayers?
Thank you very much for inviting me for this important guest, and I am honored to be the one opening this important occasion. Good afternoon, Madam President, National President M1. Good afternoon, our past Minister, Honorable Minister of Health. Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. I would like to open the session with the prayers. We are going to pray by my recitation of the first surah of the Holy Quran. So let us pray. A'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim. I seek Allah's protection from Shaitan refuge. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and the most merciful. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise and thanks to Almighty Allah, the Lord of mankind, the Lord of jinn, and all that exists, the one and only Lord for all the universe. He is the creator, the owner, the planner, the sustainer, the cherisher, and giver of everything. Ar-Rahmani Rahim, the most gracious and the most merciful. Malikil Yawmiddin, he, the only owner and only judge of the day of resurrection. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help for everything. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Guide us to the right path. Siratal lazina an'amta alayhim, ghairil maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Guide us to the path of those whom you have bestowed your grace, not the path of those who earn your anger or the path of those who have gone astray. So we pray in his name to guide us today, to guide the speaker, and to protect us from all forms of harms and injuries, and to bless us. I pray to the Almighty Allah to guide our national president, to guide our international president, to guide all the M1 presidents of the state chapters, and to guide all M1 members in whatever position we find ourselves. I pray for the Almighty Allah to uplift M1 above all other professional NGOs. So may the Almighty Allah accept our prayers individually and collectively and guide us. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. So we're just going to go on to introduce our guest speaker and get right into the business of the day. There's a popular axiom that has been going on in Nigeria, and we'll be shouting change, 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 change. However, it is said that change is not given to you, you must ask for change. And we have Dr. Kechi Ogwagu, the president and founder of Conversations for Change, C4C, an international non-profit organization established as a long-term effort to invest in the next generation of young people. Dr. Kechi has transformed the lives of many young people through numerous empowering activities. She has trained a dynamic team of young persons to work with her daily in changing the world, one young person at a time. Under her leadership, C4C has recorded several accomplishments, including the training, support, and equipping of young entrepreneurs in the successful establishment of their own businesses, which reaps a return for national and economic development. This is being achieved through the C4C Global Entrepreneurship Fellowship Program, GEFP, which provides a platform for young entrepreneurs to acquire essential skills in core areas of entrepreneurship, business management, and leadership. The entrepreneurs are also provided with seed grants as support towards the establishment and growth of their businesses. Under this program, about 50 young entrepreneurs have been direct beneficiaries of the Entrepreneurship Fellowship Program within the past 2 years. In addition, hundreds of young entrepreneurs have been educated and empowered through the blog series on entrepreneurship and the online resource center as found on C4C website, www.converseforchange.com. Dr. Kechi Ogwagu has engineered successful collaborations and partnerships with like-minded youth empowerment organizations. towards programs, trainings, and conferences well planned and organized. She is a passionate and known advocate for the right investments in young people. She retired from active service within the United Nations as the global coordinator of the global program to enhance reproductive health, commodity security at the United Nations Population Fund in New York. In this role, she led the global family planning portfolio, which focused on resource mobilization and allocation to countries, results-based management, advocacy, and strategic support for programs. She worked very closely with donors and partners within the public and private sectors. She also was a co-lead of the FP 2020 Country Engagement Working Group, and in this capacity worked with a very wide range of partners to support countries in implementing their family planning programs and in meeting their commitment to family planning. I'm just going to add here that we just recently concluded the MWIA Near Eastern Africa Congress. And at a point in time, there was a stalemate regarding the virtual hosting. However, our amiable speaker stepped in based on her past experience with UNFPA, and we had UNFPA host our virtual conference for free. So please, we should give her a round of applause even while we are speaking. For those who joined online, it was all possible. That seamless interaction online was just because of Dr. Kechi Ogbuagu, a public health physician for the past 40 years. She has a bachelor's degree in medicine and surgery from the University of Nigeria, holds an MPH degree from the University of Leeds, UK, and is a fellow of the West African College of Physicians. She was the head of the Department of Community Medicine at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Nigeria, and for many years, passionately taught and mentored young medical students and professionals as they struggle to achieve their dreams, goals, and ambitions. This passion continued to drive her efforts during her years of work in the United Nations and has culminated in her putting in place a strong and vibrant platform, Conversations for Change, to support global. She has She was awarded the Merit Award of the College of Health Science. So, how many of us here were women then? After which, she was made the Congress organizing chairperson for the second regional Congress of the Medical Women's Association of the Near Eastern African region in 2000. She was awarded the Outstanding Medical Women of the Near Eastern African region by the International Association of Medical Women in 2000 at the conclusion of the regional Congress, an award that must have been well-deserved, knowing the effort that goes into planning of the Congress. She is also a member of the Distinguished Board of Trustees of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished elders, please let's give a round of applause as we welcome our speaker for the day, Dr. Kechi Ogbuagu. Ma, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I am a little overwhelmed by the citation, but thank you. Thank you so much. Fully appreciated. My President, National President, Dr. Oseji, thank you so much for having invited me to be here today. All my distinguished elders of one, particularly, let me acknowledge Professor Adenike Grange, Sisi Nike. It's been perhaps 25 years since we worked together. I hope you haven't forgotten me. I remember the joy of our work many years ago as we did research. For all the members on this platform and for all our guests, I am deeply grateful. I am humbled. But most of all, I am really pleased to be able to have the opportunity to talk to you. I have always loved Medical Women Association. I think my history bears testimony to that. I think I have done my bits within the past 30 years to contribute to the growth of this wonderful association. Both my state president at the time, a national president, through the ordeals of organizing the regional congress when we hosted it, but also through all the other efforts I have made and continue to make to bring support to the Medical Women Association of Nigeria. I am proud of you as an organization, and I am passionately devoted to you and will continue to do my best to do so. You've heard a little bit about my history in the United Nations. I'm retired, but let me just say that the way I see life, when you retire and when you're growing old, like I am now, like Sister Nika and I are growing, and you are still blessed with relative health and strength, you reflect on your life, and then you decide to. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, because
Yes, you can.
yeah, you decide to devote your energies, the last of it, knowing you don't have too many decades left, on what still concerns you in a deep and passionate manner. And for me, that is indeed the issue of young people. And I think they should be obvious. The young people are not just our tomorrow, but they are our today, in fact. If we don't recognize that and do things today that empowers them and positions them well, then our country doesn't have hope. And I think that is part of the problem of our country. I did a great deal of work in my 20 odd years in the UN in trying to empower young people, but I believe that there's still a great deal more that needs to be done. And so I am particularly happy that I believe that many of the people listening to this discussion are indeed young doctors, young women doctors, but I hope also some young men, at least young in heart, if nothing else, are listening to this. There are Conversations for Change was set up with that vision. It's an international NGO. We're also a recognized NGO in the United States of America. We're a nonprofit. We're exempt, still 501c exempt. In any way that involves real empowerment. And so what does that mean? We have tried since I retired and came and relocated back here in Nigeria, that's into concrete actions. And that is why for us, it is conversations for change. I don't believe in just talk. I believe that you do something, no matter how little. 4 or 5 years conversation, C4C has been active in Nigeria. We have 2 major programs that we put out there. One is the platform through which we do empowerment, but particularly economic empowerment. I think this is so crucial. I always say, and with passion, that until you economically empower a young person, you're not empowered. You can never claim any other form or exercise any form or any other form of your rights, of your empowerment, until you can economically have some independence and ability to do so. And so for me, I think that is the starting point of all kinds of rights that need to be claimed and all kinds of empowerment that need to be done. And I looked back as an NGO and felt a little frustrated, but then determined to demonstrate that perhaps despite limited or no funding, we can still do something. And I'm very, very proud to say that we established the fellowship program. What it does is actually bring many young, accomplished, educated young people like yourselves on this platform, in this meeting. And for those who are interested in doing business, we give them the capacity to do so. We train them on what it means to run a business. A business is a business. It requires knowledge, it requires capacity building. And you're likely to succeed when you understand what it means to manage your business well. And we have been able to, a proof of concept. We have demonstrated that in 2 years. Over 50 entrepreneurs, many of them with master's degrees, many of them professionals in all kinds of fields. We have worked with them because they have a good business idea, turned that idea into an opportunity, and turned it into a business. And all of them are flourishing despite the pandemic. We recently started a show on national television. Again, I'm very proud of that, in which provides us the platform to showcase these successful, enterprising, hardworking, determined young entrepreneurs. But that platform also provides us the opportunity to use it as a platform where young people can be shown to be indeed excelling as an inspiration to themselves, to others, and to this country, so that we all come to collectively recognize that young people are making wonderful contributions and need to be recognized for that. The show is called The Sage. It's on every Saturday at 4:30 to 5 p.m. Every Saturday on AIT. It will be on today, and we have an exciting episode coming up today. So if you have time, please join in. But let me come to the crux of the matter, and which is the economic empowerment for the people on this meeting. Let me say again that, like I said, real empowerment only happens when somebody is economically empowered. That is one strong point for me. The second one is women, particularly young women, are crucial to the development of this country. They are crucial to the stability and well-being of the family and the community. As medical doctors, we all know that indeed the single most important determinant of the well-being of a child, of the health of a child, is his or her mother's education. And let me add, not just education, his or her mother's economic empowerment. When a mother has been fully supported, a young mother, to be the best she can, to have a certain amount of economic independence, her children will thrive, her family will thrive, her community will thrive, our country will thrive, our world will thrive. And so I say that, but let me again say a third thing. Out of all women, young women, and young people that are out there that are so important, I think young women doctors are in a class by themselves. You have within your orbits, as a God-given gift, amazing lessons from God. One is the very fact that you're a brilliant, intelligent young woman. The other is that you're a doctor. They don't come better than that. When these two things are effectively harnessed and used, you have the power to touch heaven. You have the power to conquer the world. You see, a doctor heals, and as we so deeply are aware in Medical Women Association, here in Nigeria and all over the world, when you heal and mend and care and tend with the spirit of a mother, it doesn't come better than that. But I'm also very deeply aware, a long time ago, I was a young woman doctor. And I know how terribly challenging it is to be that. The very medical profession itself, the very training you need to become a specialist, to further your career, comes at great cost to you, comes as a great challenge to your ability to fulfill your biological requirements and blessings of motherhood and wifehood, but also to be able to acquire that special training needed to excel in your profession. And so many times it's a battle we fought. I'm not sure things have improved, that the medical training itself needs to be better adjusted and more flexible to allow the young female doctor fulfill those roles, competing on the same level with our male counterparts who do not get pregnant, who do not have to nurse the baby, who do not have to be the perfect wife, and so on. And yet you are expected to do a full, rigorous, incredibly difficult residency training is perhaps inhuman. Perhaps when we come to discussion, I will be happy to know if things have changed from the time I specialized myself, because I know what I went through. And I still think many, many young doctors that I interact with, the Abuja branch that I've talked to a few times, still complain about how difficult it is to manage both worlds. And yet, I think it is the right of every young woman doctor to specialize, if possible, and to be allowed and accommodated and supported and mentored within a flexible, I plead for a flexible residency training that allows you to do so. This may need to be the subtopic of another discussion later. But I also knew from a few discussions with Dr. Seiji informally that within the context of the Youth Forum, that some of this is being considered and perhaps work is being done about how we as an association can better support our young women doctors. So it doesn't end. You do your residency, you come out, you choose a career path. You may want to become a teacher, like many of us became teachers, lecturers in the university, or perhaps just work within the system, the health system. Whichever one it is, it still requires extra from you. But let me focus on what is, I think, perhaps closest to why you've asked me to talk today. And therefore, I focus on some of us, or some of the younger doctors who may want to go into practice. Private practice, perhaps, in many forms. Whether it is to join an already established practice, whether it is to team up with your husband or family in a group medical practice, whether it's to be brave and start a practice totally of yours, I want to say to you that it is critical, so important, that you come together like my fellowship entrepreneurs do. Like I said, they're very qualified young people themselves. Many of them have master's degrees and so on. Medical practice is a business. Many times I have found that doctors are often the ones most, if pardon the use of the word, naive about that. Many of us venture into practice still thinking of our Hippocratic oath and our obligations to humanity, still passionate about healing with the spirit of a mother. And so we should be. But if I may borrow the language of the lawyers and say to you that I put it to you, that the greatest service from you should actually be to ensure that that practice succeeds. It is a business. It cannot be anything else. A failed practice is of no use to anybody, neither to your patients or to yourself or to your family. And therefore, in venturing into setting up a medical practice, you must view it and treat it and address it as a business venture. And therefore, what does this mean? It means that even if you must, in a way, even if it's very sketchily, conceive and put down a business plan. What is the particular focus of this practice that I want to go into or set up? Is it pediatrics I am zeroing in on? Is it general practice? Is it surgical practice? Who are my partners? Do I have enough potential partners to make it work? Where should it be best positioned? Perhaps not in a place where there's already too much competition. What kind of staffing do I need? What is my plan for expansion? What is the immediate? What is the midterm? What is the long term? Market segmentation. Which segment of this sector do I need to address? Do I want it located in an area that is high class, where perhaps I have some confidence that patients who come to me can pay? Am I locating it in a rural community where the power to pay may be not so much, and therefore where I need to think about the implications of that for my fees and my charging? What kind of equipment do I need? Which ones should be immediately available? How much is the cost of everything? How much is my rental? How much is the cost of building my hospital? And so on, and so on, and so on. The lesson here is that it needs to be thought out concretely as a business. Because it is only when you do that, recognize the financial implications, have a clear resource mobilization strategy, have resources that can make it happen, whether you need to borrow, whether you have saved, or you need to beg, and so on and so forth. And then you venture into it, and from time to time, of course, be ready to review and update your business plan. It is a business and will not succeed in any other way if that is not recognized. I have a dream. I have a dream that perhaps someday, time allowing, we may be able to work, you may be able to, as medical women, work with Conversations for Change, so that we adapt some of these skills we impart to other young people out there who, like you, are educated and setting up their businesses, so that you can concretely think about engaging in your medical practice from that important business perspective. Because it is when you do that, that you significantly increase your chances of success. And therefore, you succeed, and in succeeding, you do good for your society, for your patients, for your clients, for yourself, for your family, and everybody else, and for our country. I think perhaps I may have exceeded my 10 minutes. If there are things I haven't touched, I shall be very pleased to take them up during the question and answer period. So I thank you all very much. I have a PowerPoint that captures many of this. I don't know whether whether Dr. Seji might want to share later, but I hope I have addressed to a large extent a great deal of what was in that PowerPoint. So I thank you so much for listening to me. It's been a huge pleasure. And I do wish you all very well. And to please, 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 you must any other group deserves to succeed, deserves economic empowerment. We need to work, we all need to work to make sure that your business ventures in medical care succeed all the time. I thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Gwagu. It has been really enlightening. I was particularly struck by the first point of your PowerPoint, which says, until you economically empower a person, you have not empowered. You know, we keep on talking about women empowerment, but until a woman has the wherewithal to go about her own business and make decisions, she is not empowered. And for young medical doctors, ma, this is particularly relevant. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we're going to go on to the question and answers by Dr. Agbonle Bobola, the National Coordinator, Medical Women's Association of Nigeria.
Good afternoon, National President. Good afternoon, my able BOT member and past National President, M1, Dr. Kechi Okwagu. Thank you very much for this wonderful lecture you've given us. And from what you said, we've heard this before, and it's like, you know, it's another reiteration of what has been said before. Private practice is a business. Don't see it as with your oath that, oh, you're just helping people and helping people and helping people. Because if you continue like that, at the end of the day, the business will fail. And right now, I don't have any questions here, but if we do have questions, I think we should just raise our hands so that we can be picked easily. And Dr. Kechi Okwagu will answer us. So please, if you do have, okay, someone is raising her hand. Okay, our national president is raising her hand. Okay, ma, please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I wish to lend my voice to the others who have thanked our past president and member board of trustees for introducing another angle of the economic empowerment of women in health. After watching some of the videos that were the video clips on YouTube about conversations of change, I was really inspired, particularly for the one that was in agriculture, who said,
No, we can't hear you. Can we hear?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, we can.
I'm talking about the video clip of the fish farmer who said he started and everything flopped. And then it was after he went for training, he was able to get back on his feet.
Your sound seems to be fluctuating, but you are here, but I don't know if others can hear.
No, her voice is
we
going.
can't hear her.
Okay. I'm seeing Dr. Dumebi Owa's hand up. Ma, please lower your hand, unmute yourself and ask your question. Dr. Dumebi?
Yes.
Please ask your question, ma.
Not really about question, it's about experience.
All right.
What I would like to say that economics is what life is really about. Even in health, there is health economics. And if you look at the vaccine issue of COVID. It is the economic issue of vaccine that is leading, because a lot of governments are putting money into the research and it has to be recouped. Even when there are alternatives that people could do, because of health economics, they have to follow suit that way. Like every other thing, even in religion, Christianity, Islam, economics makes sense. And we won't say because we are very professional people, we are highly educated people, that when we venture into other skills, other areas that we don't need training, even if you want to sell amala, you must understudy the people who have been in that business. That is one thing the Igbos are very good at. They have what they call one boy. They understudy, and that's why they are doing very well. Don't think because you're a doctor, you now want to start a cosmetics business, you won't study it, you won't get the skills, it won't work. And we must know that health is a business. It's not a charity because somebody somewhere pays for it. Even if it's government hospital, if you don't run it like a business, you will go out of existence or you barely survive. In the field of medicine, there's what is called health economics. So I think every doctor should be armed with that. And also, I know that agriculture is the way to go. But you have to be very careful, because I did try it with 2 other doctors, but we have learned our lessons. Even as much as we have learned our lessons, it is still the way to go. Because right now, using Nigeria for example, one of the biggest crises we're going to face market is food crisis. The people who are supposed to produce food in the north are not producing. The people who are supposed to produce in the south are not producing. There's inflation, which is going to move to hyperinflation. And the government at various levels are not seeing what we are seeing. A hungry man is an angry man. So if doctors want to go into farming, which is a very good place to go, you have to study it. Don't think because you are very intelligent in medicine, it will work in agriculture. It doesn't work like that. And the issue about Nigeria in agriculture is we produce. I remember about 20 years ago, I said one of the ways forward in Nigeria to make it is agriculture. And in this agriculture lies 3 Ps: production, processing, and preservation. We produce, we don't really process, we don't preserve, we don't add value. Then we now use the very scarce resources to bring in processed products. Imagine you go to so many places, you see oranges wasting. And Nigerians, we spend money to bring juice concentrate to form what we call orange juice. It's just juice concentrate we're drinking. It's sad. So the way forward is agriculture. Anybody that wants to go there must study it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma. Thank you very, very much. I'm very sure we're all listening, and we pick points from what she's saying.
I am back.
Yes.
Can I?
Okay. Yes, ma, please do.
Can I finish?
Yes, ma, please do. Yes, ma.
So my question now is, what is the kind of package that Conversation for Change provides to these young people, apart from training? Like, it was when he got in contact with Conversation for Change, everything turned around. So what exactly was done for him, or what do they normally do, such that we can find ways of replicating this best practice that you have experienced for over 50?
Okay, thank you. Do you want me to answer each question? Should I answer that one?
Yes. I think that would be appropriate. Somebody else has a question, but answer this one, ma'am.
Okay, I think that is an excellent question. Thank you so much. When we talk about a global fellowship, the Entrepreneurship Fellowship Program, it's actually a 1-year fellowship program. But don't be frightened. We don't take them into school, but it just means we tutor and mentor for 1 year. And the elements of that is really captured in a nutshell in what I elaborated when I talked about what needs to be done for them. So there are a series of workshops, not too many, but that teach the management skills you need to manage any business. So you need to know about human resource. You need to know about how to keep your books, accounting. You need to know about pricing. How do you price your service and charge so that it can be a profit? You need to know about what will I be making? What are the resources I require? So all those elements of business, and that's what we call a business plan. We teach them thoroughly through it so that they are thinking about that their business entity from those very many aspects. Management for business is a skill you must have. We intern them with like organizations. If you say you want to be a tailor and fashion designer, we find an organization that is already successful in that and ask them for you to please intern so that you go like a few days a week for 2 months. Working with them, they're teaching you, this is what we do, this is how we handle clients, this is how we handle the clothes, and so that, like the previous speaker said, you need to know really the day in and out of that business. That is the way you'll be empowered to succeed when you start your own. We have also been able to give them a seed grant. It's not a lot of money, but we match them. We challenge them. If you're interested in doing business, it can never be a handout. You must be mobilizing resources yourself. So in addition to the resources they mobilize, we add some more money so that they can start up, buy necessary equipment, and so on. So it happens over a period of 12 months. They don't stay with us. But that 12 months is really geared to acquire management skills for running a business, acquire more technical skills for that business that you require, mobilize resources that enable you to put your infrastructure and equipment needs in place, start running the business. With our support, we'll help you launch it, and we continue to supervise and guide so that the business is running. So essentially, it is a 1-year fellowship program, but a fellowship that involves interacting with us over that period. And that is why I said in my presentation that while this is the usual intense program, we can also adapt programs for specific groups. So it may be, for instance, that if there is a large enough number of young medical women who want to go into private practice as a business, we could tailor that and have the contact and so on. In fact, we've just recruited our 3rd batch of 20 young people who are beginning the fellowship program on Monday. One of them is an optometrist. And what we're going to work with her in doing is, again, essentially that. She wants to set up private optometry. We want to help her think it through. Where should it be located? Everything, what is required, and so on. We will also polish her skills by interning her with a successful optometrist. It is the same principle. So essentially, that is it. That is what changes them. With Eric Ochibo that you talked about, what we did was, apart from teaching him what business is all about, all those other financing, keeping books, record keeping, everything, we also interned him with a successful fish farmer. And he was working with that fish farmer every day for 2 months. With that kind of empowerment, your chances of succeeding in your own business is so much higher. So that is what it is. I hope that addresses the question, but permit me, the audience, to say something that I also wanted to say, but didn't get to say in the main presentation. And that is to address my fellow oldies, some of the senior members on this meeting, women doctors. Many of us retired, or perhaps some of us preparing to retire. And to say that the retired medical doctor, it's also very, very important that we remain economically empowered. It isn't just an issue for young people. And that's ensuring that in retirement, you are economically empowered, and therefore that you lead a healthy post-retirement life is very important. There are in my mind, two key things. One is that from now, when you are young, still very much in practice, make it a point of duty, no matter whatever pension scheme your workplace may have or not have, to perhaps open a savings account where you are putting away, even if it's 1,000 naira a month, and try not to touch it. If you do that for a period of 30 active years of working, you would have stashed away some money that allows you someday, when you are no longer actively running a busy practice, to be able to put food on your table, attend to any hobby that interests you, attend to any project that interests you, visit your children and grandchildren from time to time without having to burden them with paying your fare and so on and so forth. It is important after our years of service as women doctors, as doctors, that we retire with dignity and with economic empowerment. And this is particularly important because in our country, pension schemes are so meager, they're so poor. So when I was abroad, there was a 401k that they call it, where everybody's encouraged. My children, for instance, are already though they're young working people, are already putting money aside in their 401k. We need to do that. It might even be a project Medical Women Association might want to think about, so that medical women, doctors, get into the habit of putting something there, and we're not depending on the government pension, which in the end oftentimes doesn't amount to much. The second thing, just to say briefly also, it's important for us old people to remain alive and active by still pursuing some things. Don't ever retire without doing anything. Still find something that interests you and invest your time and energy on that.
Thank you. We now have quite a number of questions coming up and 2 hands raised. Because Dr. Abosede has raised her hand, I'm going to ask her to quickly give her question. And then I have 3 questions written. I'm going to read them out. And we also have Professor Adenike Grange with a question. So I think it would be wise for me to allow them one by one to give to state their questions. We will take them down and let's see how the response will be so that we can cover in time. So Dr. Abosede, because you raised your hand first and you've been up there waiting, please just quickly ask your question. And after that, we're going to take Professor Adenike Grange. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. I want to thank you for that enlightening presentation. My question is, does Conversation for Change train those that are not interested now in making profit, but want to know how to run maybe a small outfit to educate the people on better lifestyle? Would you do that for them? Thank you.
Do you want me to take that answer one by one?
No, let's ask Professor Adenike Grange to also, she can lower her hand and put on her speaker so that she could talk. Professor Grange, ma. Hello? Okay. All right, she's not speaking yet. Maybe she will pick up later. I'm going to read out 2 questions from different people. One is from Dr. Patrick Ferife. She's asking, can the M1 and C4C adapt the fellowship program for private practice? And her second question is, could we have fellowship for beginners and for those who already own practices? Then from Dr. Eke, she's asking, what does it take to enroll in the 1-year fellowship? Those are the questions I have. Okay, I'm seeing some more here. Is Professor Grange ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, ma, please ask your question. Thank you, ma.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, ma, we
here.
can
I know
hear
it's
you.
good afternoon over there.
Okay.
You know, I just have to say a few words because I'm seeing
Yes,
Dr. Kichi Obuagu for the first time in about 25 to 30 years.
Wow,
My
wow.
goodness, you know, it's so
beautiful.
wonderful. Actually, that was why I joined. Not that I wanted to find out how to start a business. I just wanted to see you again and see how you have taken up this challenge. Thank you very much indeed. It's so much needed. Let me start with just a brief comment with the retirement. Since it concerns me, I am retired now, and you know, I believe strongly that your last statement is very, very valid. That is, we must continue to be active. We must be economically empowered. You know, that business of saying that, oh, you are going to be looked after in your old age doesn't come in anymore. Nobody looks after anybody. And now I get a lot of admiration from my children. They look at me and say, Mommy, we want to be like you when we grow up, because you don't ask us for anything. We don't, you know, in fact, we have to ask you for something, you know. I think that is a very, very important position to be in, that you are self-reliant and you can therefore take on things that you are interested in. You don't have to be working night and day to make ends meet again. So thank you, Dr. Buagu. That is a very important thing. And the young ones should think about that now. You know, when we were young, we never really imagined what it would be like when we were old. You know, you have to imagine it. You have to plan for your old age. You know, it's so important. You know, we cannot over stress it. So let me leave that aside. The second point I want to make is this, Dr. Babu. Please include men in this training. The training is not just for women. The men must learn to respect women. They must learn to be partners with women. You just lost Prince Philip, who was playing the second fiddle for 73 years, but he played it so well. He was happy. He found things to do. You know, that is how the men should feel, that it doesn't matter if their wives are, you know, ahead of them. Doesn't matter at all. But most of them are, you know, playing to their ego. They are so egocentric that, you know, you just cannot work with them in partnership. So please include the men in this. I think that's the major, those are the major things that I want to say. And, you know, I wish you all the best. Okay, the third thing is that, how will you expand this? Because it's not enough to have 50 people trained in, I don't know how many years, but 2 years or something, but it's very good. But can we not replicate? Can you not train us, the other older ones, to take on other people so that it can now be expanded very rapidly? Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Kechi, well
much.
done. Over to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, always enjoy listening to Professor Grange. She has so much in her to give to us, and I'm really grateful that she's on board with us in this biennium. And I pray that she continues, because we enjoy your words of wisdom, because we know you've worked in Nigeria in government for a long while, and when we listen to you, we gain so much. Thank you very much, ma. I also have another question from Dr. Patrick Ferife. She says, she also has a question and says, not so sure if savings alone can make all this happen. I believe we have to invest this money, make the money work for us. How do we make our money work for us? That's our question. I don't have any other question here. Okay, yes, Dr. Korubo is saying, Dr. Kechi, please also train them to respect elders. Those are and yes, another question for Professor Grange. Ma, I hope you're still here with us.
Yes, I am.
Okay, Dr. Gloria Patrick Ferife says, please, Professor Grange, can you give us some tips on what you did? So these are the questions I have for now, and I think these are enough so that Dr. Kechi can answer, and we can have. Okay, somebody else is raising her hand. Who is this?
Evo, I'm raising my
Evo,
hand.
okay, Evo, please ask your question so that we can. I think we need to end this now, otherwise we'll be here till 3 p.m.
Okay, so thank you very much, Dr. Kechima. Thank you, Professor Grange, for your inputs. That is what we pray for, that even as we go on in age, we will not rely on our children, but we'll be able to give out. But as Dr. Ferife asked, please, what investment vehicles do we have in Nigeria that would help us save for the future? Not save, that would help us have enough for the future. Because if we factor in inflation, if we save 1,000 naira, if someone had been saving 1,000 naira since 1999, by now the value of the money would have decreased. So what can we do to ensure that our monies are multiplied? You spoke about 401k in the US. We do not have that in Nigeria. What do we have as young people? Because Dr. Oseji started something about economic empowerment and gave us a set amount that each person should have at every age, at each age.
Yes.
And when the first time I looked at it, I saw that this is almost impossible. But I've been thinking about it, and I'm thinking in Nigeria, what can we do? Because that's where a lot of people are inclined. Not everybody wants to go into business. Not everyone is business inclined. So from the salaries we get now in our young age, what can we do with that money to ensure that in the future we are secure and not dependent on our children and beggarly? Thank you, moms. And this is thrown to the entire house and not just the speakers.
Okay. So I think we will ask Dr. Kechi to answer the questions since she's our lead speaker today.
Thank you very much. I think those are great questions.
Yes.
Yes. So let me try and see whether I captured all of them. The first one was about what about is it for non-profits, people who are not necessarily trying to make it a profit venture, but want to do something for the community and so on, to better people's lifestyle. That was the word. Okay. Let me say that it's a very interesting and apt question, because actually you have mirrored my life. Conversations for Change is a non-profit, but it is a business. And therefore I have found that in building my own capacity to train entrepreneurs, I found that those very same principles apply to running a non-profit. Because if not, you will not achieve your objectives. So it's the same thing. It is, so my answer to you is absolutely yes, you need those same skills. The only thing is that, and you also need to make some profit if possible, but you see, the only difference with a non-profit is you plow it back into that business, into help expanding the program, helping others. So, but you still must learn about how you keep your books, what personnel you need, what are the financial requirements of whatever program you want to do, and so on and so forth. So the answer is yes. Profit or non-profit, you need to understand how the business should be managed effectively. The second one asked about adapting it for beginners or already.
Yes, and those already in practices.
Let me say again, a great question. Actually, the fellows we take on and train belong to both categories. There's some that we help start the business for the first time. But there are many we help to expand and improve an already established business. And in fact, I find that I am now, with experience, with hindsight, looking back, finding that sometimes we seem to benefit those who already have established businesses more. Because what we're doing is helping you review what you were doing and make it functional and efficient. And they tend to hit the ground running faster because they already have some experience on the ground.
Yes,
yes, and perhaps the Eric Ochibos belong to that category. So yes, the answer to that is yes. It can be done for beginners. We are actually doing for beginners. We are also doing for people who have already started. The important thing is wherever you are to do it successfully. Somebody asked, what does it take to enroll in the fellowship?
yes.
What we do is every year we advertise online, publicize the beginning of the program as widely as we can. And people who are interested go online and apply. I must admit it is a stiffly competed thing, and we have a reason why. What we're doing is an attempt to exponentially escalate the economy of Nigeria through establishing successful small and medium scale enterprises. We have found from having done this for some time now, that actually the businesses that are most likely to succeed are the ones being run by intelligent young people like yourselves. And so when we establish a business, we don't just establish for one person. On the average, all the businesses we have established so far have at least 6 employees. There is one that has 24 employees. So what we're doing is someday we will take a record and showcase that and show that the jobs we created were actually hundreds of jobs and not because we established 50 businesses. I hope you understand that.
Yes,
Somebody, yes, Sisi Nika said include men. Men are an integral part of this. Absolutely, I agree with you. If you watched our program and seen our successful entrepreneurs on the show, half of them are men. So men are not excluded at all. I may have emphasized women on this talk, but that is because I felt most of my audience were women doctors. Not because in any form or manner we exclude men in the program. Sorry?
Oh, I think somebody needs to be muted.
And then how will you expand or replicate?
Yes, somebody else still asked that question, so it's an answer to 2 questions.
Very, very important. It is one to which I appeal to all of you. When you start off this thing, because like I said, you can't just talk. You know, our program, our record of success is not because we just come and bring them to a workshop and teach them and they go. No, it is because we are also able to give something, a grant, that allows them to have the courage to to actually do it. That means money. We started the first year, we did 10 entrepreneurs who have, so it's 10 businesses. The second batch, we did 15. We have just enrolled 20 people. It is a huge economic investment, but we have the capacity to do a great deal more. If we can, money can be channeled into this program. It is part of the passion behind the chat show that we started. We ask each one of you on this platform and all potential goodwill people you know out there to invest in the program, because then it allows us to expand. It means we can go establish this in every state, for instance, in this country, and have people there running it on the ground. There's so much need. We're so willing to share this knowledge, to share this experience. Help us get people to work to make it happen. This is the economic future for this country. People's economy and unemployment rates are reduced, not by government, but by the enterprises, oftentimes medium and small scale, that are succeeding. This is the answer to our problem. So we are willing to expand. Against all odds, we are expanding, but we need everybody's help.
Thank you very much, Ma. I think I would want you to drop the link that people can use to apply. The question.
When we open application again, we will inform, I will take it from me, I would personally inform medical women. We've closed, just selected 20. The fellowship is beginning on Monday. So you will nobody can apply now. If we had money, we would select 100. We don't have the money. So bear with us, but we will inform you next time the portal opens. Let me end and address the last set of questions a little, and Sisi Nike can come in, where they're asking us, how do we make this economically empowered retirement feasible? For those of us who are already at this stage, we have had different life patterns to it. I humbly accept the point made by the young lady who talked about the fact you don't have a 401k, you put money 1,000 away, and in 20 years' time, because of the devaluation of the Naira, it doesn't amount to much. And no, I'm not sure I have the answer or that anybody has all the answer about that security in an environment like ours in Nigeria. But my suggestion is to invest, to think about that money you put away. Don't put it away necessarily into a bank, but invest it. Go discuss with people who really know about investment portfolios. You see, let me say that I am not just talking of the past. Recently, I thought of it myself. As we retire, we the older generation, had also put away some money. As Sisi Nike, I know you did that too. We're not depending on government pension to survive. Although I must confess that the UN pension is a little better. But anyway, but the point is, you go invest properly in the stock market, in other types, explore the various types of investment opportunities. That is the answer. Because many times those investment portfolios, if well managed, will retain their value come 20, 30 years. You see, when I've looked at my little retirement savings recently, and I started discussing with my son about the fact that I wanted to invest. I don't want this much sitting in the bank. And so we actually discussed with some investment experts, advisors. The point about investment portfolios is that you reap the benefits after 20, 30 years. And I said to the young man, the investment expert, me, I don't think I have 20, 30 years left. So if over time, what I am going to see as profits is then there may be no point, but you have time. So when we say put away now, don't just go put it in the bank and leave it there. Begin to explore investment opportunities, investment portfolios within and outside this country. The international investment market is also open to you. This, to my mind, is the way to go about it.
Thank you.
And then somebody said, my last comment is somebody said they should respect their elders. What we teach in C4C is called social entrepreneurship. I am very, very proud of our fellows. They have, you see, what we do is not just teach you business, we teach you morality. Not because we preach from a podium, but because we show you that goodness still exists and that what we are doing for you is divinely inspired because we want to do good, because we believe in you. And therefore we leave them with a strong belief, passion that they owe the society, that they will give back to the society. Everything we do for them is free. There's fellowship, there's love. Listen to my fellows on telly. Those things are not put up. They're genuinely inspired young people. With that, so we have lectures on ethics. We teach them that part of it is must show in the quality of service you provide. That is such a problem in our country. So our entrepreneurs have come up with a C4C Fellowship Merit Award hanging there that says, and we tell the class that starts on Monday, we tell them, you will be a successful entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur that operates on morality and ethics. Of course, fundamental to African culture is also the issue of ethics, respect for yourself. You need to start by respecting yourself, because if you don't, respect for elders, respect for your clients, respect for community. My show is all about that. I am passionate about that. I am passionate that there's more good in this world than bad. I am passionate that Nigeria is a wonderful country. I am passionate that the bulk of people in Nigeria, particularly our young, are good, and that they are crying for examples to follow. They are crying for leadership. And so my show does not just about showcasing entrepreneurs, but about speaking that message of hope and truth. We are good people. This is a potentially wonderful country. Let us together make it so.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much for these words. In fact, your words have just encouraged me. And hello, can we hear me? All right.
Yes, we can hear you.
Your words have encouraged me. Yes. The words have encouraged me, and I'm very sure they've inspired lots of others. Okay. Professor Grange, do you have any comments to make?
Just a very brief
I have
one.
two hands raised, so I want you to
Just a brief
still
one.
speak before I attend to them.
Yes, just a brief
Hello,
one.
ma'am.
Just to
Okay,
again thank Dr. Ogwagu about these last comments of integrating ethical principles into anything that is being done. Thank you very much. I think that is very missing in a lot of entrepreneurship projects. Then somebody said, how did I do it? I think I didn't know how I was doing it. But looking back, I believe that it was with tears. It could have been easier if I knew what to do at that time. but I'm sure it's the same thing with Nkechi. But anyway, but this is why we don't want the young ones to go through that process. You know, we want you to have learned, to learn now, and you know, guard against the tears that come later if you are not investing. And I think this has been a wonderful thing. Let me pay obeisance to Dr. Oseji. Dr. Oseji, you've done it again. Huh? You've got this platform that gives
Thank you,
everybody,
Prof. Thank you, Prof.
yeah, gives everybody inspiration and knowledge and whatever. Thank you. And if you want to know what I said before about how to do it, I did give a lecture. I'm not going to repeat the lecture now because today is Dr. Kichi's day. Dr. Oseji gave me the opportunity to give a talk on leadership. What was the title again? But anyway, I spoke all about women, female leadership, medical women's leadership.
Yes.
And I brought out a lot of those things that we are talking about today. So thank you. I still insist that we must make sure that we are partnering either with our husbands, most times with our husbands, not necessarily investing with them, together with them, but getting them to come along with us. I'm sure Dr. Seji knows what I'm talking about. Dr. Seji is so successful in this because of the way she has managed her husband. Isn't that so, Dr. Seji? So I think, you know, Dr. Kiji, Dr. Gwagu, we need also to come out with a way of letting the young ones know how to package themselves and their husbands so that they can be in partnership. If the husband is not interested in being in partnership, you can do well by finding a partner, a female partner whom you are working with. I think if you are in partnership, you will have a little bit more time for yourself. But Nkechi, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that in partnership, you can, but of course it has to be with somebody of like mind. You need to be able to choose the right partners. So thank you very much indeed. Keji, well done. I'm glad I didn't sleep through. I had to put on an alarm for you.
This is lovely.
6 a.m. alarm.
So good to see you.
All right, thank you. Okay, thanks a lot. Keep it. Oh, let me please. How can one contribute to this? Can you give us the link for that?
Okay, I will. Like I said, the show is on this afternoon, but I will share after this on the platform also how to contribute to this.
Thank you.
How you can reach us as an organization. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mas. Okay. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Seji, our national president, so that she can speak to other issues that are very, very, very important here. I want to thank Dr. Kechi Obagu. I want to thank Professor Adenike Grange. I want to thank all those that have made various contributions. This has been wonderful. It has inspired me personally. I'm very sure others too have been inspired. We've heard words and we know that those words are sinking into us and we'll replicate them. And like others have said, we want to know the next program when it's coming up. And Dr. Kechi has promised us that, and I'm very sure she's going to keep to that promise when the time comes up. So please, I'm going to hand over to our national president, Dr. Mini Oseji. to take over from here. Thank you, Ma. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, National Coordinator, Dr. Agbonle.
Welcome.
As our tradition has been since January, when we give our talk on economic empowerment, we go on to monitoring and evaluation of health programs. So please share my slide. I'll put it on most of the platforms so that those who may not, okay, you can see it now,
Yes.
who may not be able to get it, they can.
Okay, the slide is up now.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so I've also put it on the platforms, the common platforms. So the outline, we'll talk about the NDHS, our updates on our 2 major projects, and then our project in Adamawa State. And of course, sustainability. We always have to talk about sustainability. And by way of introduction of the NDHS, we'll look at our latest NDHS, which is 2018. NDHS is the Nigerian Demographic Health Survey. Now, it is a survey done every 5 years. So we're expecting that by 2023, we're going to get another survey, and it helps us to track how well we are doing in things like sustainable development goals and other, that's health-related sustainable development goals and other indices. So for the 2018, we have the following data: maternal mortality ratio 512 per 100,000 live births, under 5 mortality 132 per 1,000 live births, prevalence of stunting and wasting in under 5 children 36.8 and 6.8 respectively. Coverage of DPT 3 is that's a pentavalent 3 is 50.1%, and then proportion of women that experience intimate partner violence is 29.5%. Then I've been able to also, at the next slide, present the NDHS from 1990 to 2018. So if you look at one of the major indicators is maternal mortality ratio. It was 1,000 in 1990. By 2008, it dropped to 548. 2013, it climbed to 576. 2018, it came down to 512. Now, for Millennium Development Goals, the target was that whatever maternal mortality ratio was in 1990, by 2015, when the Millennium Development Goals was wrapping up, it should have been reduced by 75%. So where we should have been in Nigeria by 2015 was 250. That would have been a 75% drop. So 2015, we're not at 250, we're still in 500. And 3 years after 2015, we're still in 500, 512. I hope everybody is hearing me. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Ma, we can hear you.
Yes.
Very well.
So that just gives us an indication of how bad things are still for maternal mortality. And infant mortality is just dropping back and forth, or dropping with just very little, reduction. Under 5 mortality has increased from what it was in 2013. 128 has gone to 132. So we are not having leaps of improvements. So let's just say that our health status, whether we consider it good or bad, is just static. So whatever it is now is for us to ask whoever is coming in as governor, as president, as minister, as commissioner, whoever is in charge of teaching hospitals, secondary hospitals, primary health centers, what are we going to do to have a quantum drop? Does anybody have any answer? If you have, please put your name and give us the answer. Because Nigeria, we need answers. We need to look at the data and ask ourselves, why is it not getting better? Look at measles vaccine coverage. I don't have the data for the earlier years, but 2013, 42, 2018, 54. We're expecting it to be 80. So we're still far away. DPT3, 38, 50 is not good enough. So that's food for thought. Today, we are going to ask ourselves, give us answers. We want answers. How do we get it better? What is the magic bullet to make sure that there is an improvement? The reason is, if we don't ask these questions as leaders in our own setting, whether you're a house officer, you're a leader over those patients that you are handling, whether you're a chief resident, whether you're a consultant, whether you're an HOD, you're a leader. If we don't ask these questions and begin to do something in our own small corners, our relatives are going to be the next statistics. The next statistic, it will be our own relatives, people we know. And when we hear these things happen to the people we know, let us not call government. Government is an invisible entity. Let us ask, what could I have done within my own power to have improved the system so that my relation, that my friend does not become the next statistic? So with that, we quickly go on to our updates on the adopted health facilities. We have 14 in 14 states. And the data that we have as at today, only 9 out of the 14 states have given us 12-month report for 2020. So the data we are presenting, it will still need to update. So the question is, as national president, what advice would you give to me to handle the remaining 5 states that have not submitted? I didn't put their names. We know the names that have submitted 12 months of 2020. But there are 5 states that have not. They are part of this project. We didn't force them, they joined, and they have not given us data for 2020 complete so that we can assess. So now the data, next slide, for 2020, we have recorded 60 maternal deaths from Delta, Kaduna, Cross River, Benue, Zamfara, Edo, Imo State, and 197 neonatal deaths from Cross River, Benue, Zamfara, Edo, Imo State. Now, please note that in some of these places where we have high deaths, like Zamfara and Imo, they are like referral centers. So that is where bad cases are referred. Places where you may have very low deaths or no deaths are like primary health centers where they hardly have patients that are referred, bad cases that are referred. But the most important thing is that these are our adopted health facilities. We are trying to improve. Now, by the time we put all together the live beds of 4,644 in all these facilities, we get a maternal mortality ratio of 1,291 per 100,000 live beds, and a neonatal mortality ratio of 42 per 1,000 live beds. So where we are now is that the neonatal mortality rate is not as bad, but the maternal mortality is even beyond the Nigerian average of 500 or thereabouts. So what do we do to bring this maternal mortality ratio down? If you have any suggestion to the national president, please private chat. Because if we cannot find a solution, nobody will. It's these people who are dying, they are our mothers. They are women like us. These neonates that are dying, we have children who were neonates at one time. So they are our children. What can we do? Now for family planning, we have total number of new acceptors for the year 2020, 19,025. Total number of revisits, 20,531. So where we're going to compare is that by the time we have data up till June 2021, we will now ask, that is for half of a year. Is it as good as half of what we got in 2020? If it is less than half, that means we are doing worse. But if it is greater than half, that means we are doing better. So we'll quickly go on to the WADI project. For WADI project, we have raised over 2.5 million of our 7 million target. And we have expended 600,000 to support treatment of 4 cases of cancer, 3 breast and 1 cervical, 380,000 for production of cervical screening flyers, 150,000 for production of flyers for 10,000 primary health centers, and 269,000 to support cervical screening for 538 women, with a plan to support an additional 398 with 199,000. Now, the issue is because we did not have all the money come at the same time, we decided to stagger payment of some. So there are states like Ebonyi that they have screened 300, but we have told them that we are going to pay for 100, and then later on we'll pay the 200. So once we get all this data, shortly after this presentation, we are going to begin by next week paying the balance, because many other states are not even doing any screening. So those states that have done screening and we've only paid a part, we're going to start paying for the rest so that we can include that in our data. Now we have, for those who are giving us data, either for awareness creation and so on, we've got data from 13 states. Participants reached, male and female, over 5,000, numbers of flyer distribution, over 5,000, cervical screening done, 3,619. And this includes Gombe states that did not send their data to the worthy focal person. But because they sent it to me privately, I added it, and we've not paid for them. They have done over 1,000. So the issue now is those states that have done screening, but they have not submitted their data, they have not applied for funding, they should please do, so that we can get them their funding as quickly as possible. Cases with cervical lesion, we have 515 cases that were treated with thermal ablation or cryotherapy, 67, and the number of calls made, 255. This is beautiful. That means people are beginning to call and ask questions about this program, and they are creating awareness compared to when we did the worthy for breast health examination. We had very, very few calls. Now, mute. So we go on to the Hope Center for the Sexual Assault Referral Center, which is known as Hope Center in Adamawa State. Is where victims of violence go for counseling, testing, admission, observation, and they are also referred when there's need for special treatment. It was commissioned by Her Excellency, the First Lady of Adamawa State, Hajia Lami Amadu Finitri, on the 29th of January, and that is the photograph there. Now, the results so far show that total cases are 33, and they come from these communities: Newman, Lamurde, Sheleng, Demsa, LGAs, and neighboring Tabara states, all females. The youngest is a 4-year-old, the eldest 27-year-old. Peak month of cases was November, and this is just the results. So we need to look at this project, because for many situations, both government and not government, when we finish commissioning the project, that's the end. But we don't want just pictures of us commissioning projects. That is just the beginning. We need to go back and ask how far. And I promised, because I was there at the commission, and I promised that we're going to monitor and make sure that our state, Adamawa State M1, does justice and gives us data that we can use. So this is data that we are using for advocacy, so that more support can be provided and better services can be rendered. And then other states that want to set up sexual assault referral centers can go and learn from what Adamawa State is doing. Now we'll go on to sustainability of M1 projects. We've always said it, and the reason we repeat some of these things is that sometimes you need to hear these things over and over for it to really sink in and for it to generate action that will lead to change. And so capacity building of state branches is our major sustainability strategy. And one of the ways we know that the capacity has been built is when our state branches are able to submit reports. So for our various NEC meetings, we've had 7 states, 19 states, 23 states, and 23 states submitting reports at the December 2019 NEC meeting, September 2020 NEC meeting, December 2020 NEC meeting, and March 2021 NEC meeting, respectively. So what we have is that out of our 36 states plus FCT, the highest number is 23. So that means we have about 14 states that are not submitting reports. Thank God we have improved from 7 in December 2019 to 23 in March 2021. But we have 14 states that are not submitting reports. Please, what do you advise the national president to do to those 14 states to encourage them to submit reports? Because if you cannot submit reports, we cannot help you. We don't know what is going on. We don't know whether to learn from you or whether to teach you anything. And if it does not work amongst the medical women, is it the non-medical people out there in government, in non-government that it will work for? We're supposed to be the creme de la creme, the best of the lot, and yet out of 37, we have 14 not submitting. What could be going wrong? Because if it is happening at this level like this, we are sure that if any of the people in those states become commissioner, minister, governor, whatever, nothing good is going to come out. All right, a smooth and peaceful transition, developments of our strategic plan, publication in peer-reviewed journals. Now, in February, the February M&E, we looked at what YDF had done, and quite a number of them had done beautiful things. So we now went back and also asked the same questions amongst the M1 research team. How many people had submitted articles? We had 12. How many people had published articles? We had 12. How many people have submitted abstracts? Like for the Congress, we had 13. How many people had their abstracts accepted? We had 12. And then how many people had submitted applications for grants? We had 11. And how many people were awarded grants? We had 4. So that is where we are. We hope it will improve before the biennium ends. But the most important thing is that we are keeping track. So the other reason why we are sharing this information is that if you have not in this biennium submitted any article for publication, presentation, you've not applied for a grant, go and ask the ones who have applied and ask them, do they have 2 heads? If they have 1 head like you, then go and do likewise. Conclusion, in order to improve the health indices of African nations like Nigeria, we must institute an efficient monitoring and evaluation system that involves all players in the health sector using objectively verifiable indicators. Secondly, we must identify health workers who are doing well, motivate them financially and otherwise. Thirdly, we must identify health workers who persist in doing badly and sanction them appropriately. Finishing strong, this virtual meeting on monitoring and evaluation of health programs will be held every 2nd Saturday of the month from 12 noon through September this year. So please save the dates. State presidents, don't fix events or programs on the 2nd Saturday so that your members do not miss out. Through this exercise, the National Secretariat of the 2019-2021 M1 Biennium, domiciled in Asaba Delta State, hopes to finish strong by September 2021, when we will hand over the baton to M1 or your states. So my major reference is the NDHS reference, and I want to acknowledge Dr. Asabe Bwala, who is the M1 Adamawa State President, for the use of our slides on updates on Hope Center, Newman. I acknowledge Dr. Bobola Agbonle, M1 National Coordinator for the data collection and analysis on the adopted health facilities. I also acknowledge Dr. Uche Okwe, M1 National Assistant Secretary for the data collection analysis on the World Day project. So before we go into questions, if you have advice for me, the national presidents, on the issues that I asked, I'm almost at my wit's end. I want to know what else we can do to make some improvements in the both M1 programs and in the national health programs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ma. So, questions?
Answers first. Those who have answers to my question.
To the questions, yes, answer to. I don't know, does Dr. Kukubo have any answer?
Hello, my hand is up.
Okay, Dr. Olayenka, Abosede.
Abosede, yes, thank you very much.
Please,
thank you
Dr.
for that.
Sorry, ma, please, Dr. Kukubo, do you have any question? I'm sorry I didn't answer, I didn't pick you before, but please, if you do, after Dr. Abosede, you will speak.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Please, to take you back to the entrepreneurship talk. by Dr. Buago. I wanted to congratulate the national president and our member of BOT, Dr. Buago, for this great seminar. Thank you very much. I want to lend my voice to the fact that we as retired medical doctors will have to give some time to business, to do business. And to say that last year, November, I attended an entrepreneurship workshop here in Port Harcourt. It was for 2 weeks, every day going for the lecture for 2 weeks. And I learned a lot. There, I was told that there are two basic ways of making money. Either you're providing a service or you're buying and selling. I was also told there that a businessman is different from an entrepreneur in that a businessman does the normal thing, but an entrepreneur does something extra innovative. Okay? So this offer that Dr. Berg is giving to us, Enroll in the fellowship, is very worthwhile. I will personally enroll when the opening comes because I believe I will learn more. And I'm gearing up to enter into agriculture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kukubo. Thank you. All right.
God bless.
So Dr. Olayenka Abosede, please, over to you.
Thank you very much for the very informative presentation. But I have a passion about community participation, and we're still not doing it right in Nigeria. That is why we don't have sustainable programs. Now, if we must look inwards, even M1 members are not participating at the community level. If you ask how many are active in their residents' associations, you'll be surprised that you won't get up to 20%. Our communities are supposed to have ward health committees. And those ward health committees are to be empowered to participate fully when we are doing community diagnosis. If they diagnose their own community and draw up annual action plans with proper budget, those action plans are supposed to be put together to become the local government action plan that is to be funded. Now, whether the project is a government one or a private NGO one, that is the way to go. Involve the people themselves. Let them ask questions. By the next year, let them ask. Last year, in our action plan, we said this was the challenge that we're having, the health challenge. These were our interventions, and these were the objectives that we said we would achieve at the end, and we were going to spend this amount of money, and these were the sources of the money that we were going to spend. But looking at our program now, that is, if they evaluate themselves, we have found that we have not been able to achieve this, and these objectives. So for the next year's plan, they now look into those ones that were not achieved that year and budget again for them. They should be asking the local government officials, what were you doing that we do not have funds for these action plans that we have developed? I tell you, in Nigeria now, out of 8,812 wards that we have, you would hardly find any ward where the community was fully involved in drawing up an annual action plan. And I think that's the way to go. Even for data collection, you said some states, about 14 states, did not respond. How do we know? It was not publicized. We didn't see it in the newspapers. We didn't see it on television or on radio to say that this project was ongoing and this and this and these states have not responded, or that you have actually remunerated the ones that are good publicly, so that we can encourage the others to do likewise. It happened in one group recently. Those that were not performing were exposed, and they quickly paid what their dues were. I think it was even M1. So that's the way we should go. And I think we're just moving up and down, not really addressing the issue. We should, each M1 member should be able to go to the MOH, Medical Officer of Health of the local government, and ask questions about action plans that are not developed. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma. Are there any other suggestions? Are there any other suggestions for our national president's question, asking on how we can improve response from different states, and also on the human project? She asked two questions. She talked about the response from different states and also on human project to make sure that it continues and it is shared to different states. Different states should be.
Dr. Aisha's hand is up. Call Dr. Aisha.
Hello, good afternoon, Max. Thank you very much, Madam National President, for your very lucid presentation. We sincerely appreciate your efforts and those of other state presidents nationwide. I just wanted to lend my voice to the questions you have raised. I think it's actually very frustrating not to receive data from association leaderships in certain states. What I think can be done, in my own opinion, is we call out these states on our various platforms, since I'm very sure private reminders have been sent to them and they have not been forthcoming. I think we can call them out on our platforms so that they probably give their reasons there why they have not been sending it. And we also make them understand the importance and need to send this data. Thank you very much again.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me just respond briefly to what Professor Abosede said. We have had a way of rewarding those who are doing well. Even the list of health workers, first we had the list of M1 members. First we had in February the young doctors, then we've had the research team. It's just a way of recognizing them. We had that information, we didn't need to put it here, but now we have put it here, and so many people, both M1 and non-M1 people, have heard. And I'm sure a lot of people will be saying, oh, in case there's anything like this, next time I'll make sure I participate, particularly if you are among the research team. The research team has about 34 members. So the number of people who have done something, they're not up to half. So those few who have done something and we have put their names out today, that's a way of recognizing them. Then for the young doctors, we have quite a long, in the Young Doctors Forum, we have 256 participants. That means they have filled their WhatsApp group. What we had in the list was not up to 30. So that is like about 1/10 or so. So others will ask themselves, why has this, what am I doing? These other young doctors, so that's one way. We said you can motivate them financially or otherwise. So this is the otherwise motivation by announcing their names here on this program. Now for the community participation, that is basically what we are focusing on. And we explained to stakeholders that we decided to adopt these facilities because we know that every administration in M1 just lasts for 2 years. And you need a lot of time and attention to be able to make a change. You have government administrations, 4 years, they can't make a change, they get re-elected, another 4 years, we are still where we are. So 2 years is a very short time. That's why we say, let's focus on one health facility per, state. And only 14 that could even come up with all the necessary information to allow us to adopt. We would have loved to adopt 37, but we only adopted 14 for the states that were actually, willing to participate. Now for this 14, we are monitoring every month, we are getting their data. Now we find out that there's a challenge in collecting data. So that challenge is not we didn't even anticipate when we started this problem that there was going to be a challenge in collecting data. What could be the challenge? Is it going to the facility? Is it calling on the phone and asking them to give you? Is it the texting? So whatever we find out in the implementation of the project, you can extrapolate it to every other health project in Nigeria. So even if you had billions, the money is there, you are ready to spend the money, yet some people will not be able to participate. Now, there are certain projects that we are looking at that can make an impact. One of them is creation of awareness. Awareness so that people know that these services are there. Awareness so that people actually utilize those services. And in the process of doing that, we had a lot of flyers. So all these adopted health facilities have been giving flyers to create awareness. When the women come for antenatal care, give them flyer on family planning. When they come for immunization, give them flyer on diabetes, in gestational diabetes, as well as I think is it this one on I think it's peripartum cardiomyopathy, the one that the Nigerian Cardiac Society introduced to us. So all this is to create awareness on the things that they need to do. Now, we have projects that have promoted the World Development Committees. These are the World Development Committees that ensure community participation. The Basic Healthcare Fund currently is working through the World Development Committees. Unfortunately, the Basic Healthcare Fund has now been caught up with a lot of bureaucracy, and so many states are not be able to access the money that they need for these World Development Committees. So what can M1 do? Can M1 now begin to consider supporting the World Development Committee, even if it means in each of these facilities, we provide funding to get a World Development Committee meeting so that the community will know that this project is an M1 project. World Development Committee with 10,000, you will be able to, how do you call it now? Provide the resources for a World Development Committee meeting, and then we share the information, and then you now find out what exactly is happening and how can the community be carried along. We have carried out some interventions, specific interventions in the problems where we saw, in the facilities where we saw specific peculiar problems, like in Zamfara, when we saw that neonatal tetanus was very high, we raised alarm, we informed Federal Ministry of Health, National Primary Health Government Agency, and then we even provided chlorhexidine, 1,000 tubes, and they are being shared to those communities that are providing the greatest number of neonatal tetanus to the referral center that we have adopted. So that is something that we have already done. And we are very proud of our Zamfara state president and her colleagues in M1 Zamfara for the initiatives that they have come up with. And then in Idumujuno in Delta State, we even ran into a patient that was experiencing, that has a cleft palate, and we are following her up, trying to make sure that the patient has enough nutrition to be built up for the surgery, which we've linked them up to a place where they can have the surgery free. So if we do not work with the communities, we will not even be able to do all that we are doing now. So I just wanted to let you know that we already have a community participation component in this program, but there is the government-owned program that works with World Development Committees. And for some reason, it's not working because of the bureaucracy of the Basic Healthcare Fund. So what is going to be one of the outcomes now is for us to see how in the next couple of weeks, we organize a World Development Committee meeting in each of these adopted health facilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma.
So we can wrap up. I'm sure we don't have any more questions.
Yes, I think so. I'm not seeing any other hands. No hands raised. So I think we can wrap up. Evo, are you there? Okay. So I think we can go on to the
vote
next
of thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
vote of thanks by Dr. Yes, okay. By Dr. Oyin Owahabuzo.
Yes.
our National Internal Auditor. And Dr. Ali, please get ready.
Oh my. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can
Yes,
hear
we can.
you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Mars. It's an honor to have been asked to offer the vote of thanks on this occasion of the April edition of the Economic Empowerment of Medical Women through Monitoring and Evaluation of Health Projects. On behalf of our indefatigable National President, Dr. M.I. Oseji, and the entire M1 members, send a hearty gratitude to Lord God and all our speakers, especially our admirable Dr. Kechi Uwagu, the past president of this noble association, for adorning her necessary work and sharing her graceful words with us in today's meeting. We have essentially learned a lot. Thank you so much, Ma. I also thank our MC, Dr. Evo, National YDF Coordinator, for our efforts towards today's anchoring. I would like to place my sincere thanks to all volunteers and participants, over 68, because of whom we have made this meeting possible. Hoping we have taken down tips to invest wisely and thoughts to prefer solutions to health issues we have discussed thus far. We are fortunate to also have a past Minister of Health, Professor A. Grange, BOT members, NEC members, and guests who are aware of our tasks as an association and are concerned about the results. So I show appreciation to the people who have been the strength of this association. We thank you so much. And once again, I would like to state that we are very glad to all the speakers here over this meeting. We thank you for being with us. It has remained a pronounced pleasure. Have a great day and a great week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Oyi. So, Dr. Ngozi Ali, you have to take the closing prayer.
Thank you.
Dr. Ali is not online.
Dr. Ngozi Ali,
she's not online, ma'am.
So okay. Oh, that's Evo. Okay.
Any other person can
Evo,
call
I
on any
think we
other.
can ask any other person to pray. Any other person to pray.
Can Professor Abosede please pray for us? Prof. Ma, are you still present?
Let us pray. Our dear Father, we thank you.
Thank you
for the
very
many
much. Shall we
blessings that
pray?
we enjoy from you. We thank you for giving us life, giving us energy, even to be able to meet together and discuss issues that concern us as mothers. Father, we thank you because of the discussions that we have had, issues that have been raised. We ask, oh Father, that you continue to grant us divine wisdom on how to move forward in our association to better the lives of people in Nigeria and even beyond our country. Thank you, dear Father, for being with us. In Jesus' precious name we have prayed. Amen.
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 Bye, everyone.
Please remain empowered. Remain empowered. Whatever your hand findeth to do, do it well.
Thank you so much.
You
Madam
look
President.
beautiful, man.
Thank you. I went for a wedding this morning.
Yes, I was wondering you had all dressed up.
Honestly, you are beautiful, Madam MP. Honestly, you are Indomie. Nice. I love that. Beautiful.
Please.
Well done, ma.
You're beautiful.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Perife, for your questions. We've been doing this economic empowerment for quite some time. So some of the tips you were requesting for, we have shared them, but we can share them again.
Thank you so much.
And then we have some of our YouTube videos. If you have time, you watch and you get some of those ideas.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well done.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Ma.
Bye. Thank you, Maz.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Dr. Perife, Ma.
Thank you, Professor Grange.
Thank you, Dr.
Ma'am.
Wago.
I salute M1. It's on the Oludare.
Hello,
Yes,
Madam
you
MP, ma.
you.
Madam MP, you're too much. Thank you, ma.
God is faithful. God is faithful.
Madam MP, Dr. Shodende is greeting you. Oh. Madam MP, you look
Shodende.
gorgeous. You look beautiful, honestly. I went for the wedding. That's Dr. Shuden admiring you. And I'm happy Dr. Shuden, they appreciate you. That's why I'm this dress. So people have been sending their emails. We will just circulate the presentations on all the platforms. So make sure that your state president, she gets you the email, the presentation. We'll put it on the next page, we'll put it on the general, biennium, and young doctors, senior members, by the time we do that. But if you don't get it, your state president asks, please, where is the presentation? Please, so that we follow up. Please remember your financial planning for health. Try and meet your targets. If you cannot get 100%, you can get 70%. If you cannot get 70%, you can get 50%. But nobody should get go less than 50 because that one is fail. You must attain 50% for your age, your financial plan. Somebody is asking for CME points. This one does not require CME points. You will only get one CME point. Is it necessary? this one is just an 1 hour plus. So that will give you either 1 or 1.5. We don't have the energy to begin to struggle for. But
this one don't reach it don't reach 2 hours, so 12 to 2 now 2 hours.
It depends on how much time they were speaking and how much time they were answering questions. 1 hour, 1 point is 45 minutes lecture. My own lecture was not up to 45, and Dr. Obuagu's zone was about 25 minutes or thereabouts. So it will not reach. But we have our last CME coming up very soon. That one was 5 CME points.
Estima, well done.
Thank you. How are you?
I do. Were you able to solve the wahala?
I will ask her for just now. Maybe later I will ask her.
I don't ask you.
Why won't they ask you?
I'm going to ask you.
Thank you.
Magdalene, I don't see you again for here. Magdalene, I see you for 4 a.m. I don't see you again. You know the rest?
Dr.
Evo.
Dr. Aisha,
Dr.
like you know I was coming for you. You knew I was coming for you.
I just knew it. Your mind spoke to mine.
When I saw your name, I wanted to send you a message. Well done. I'm sure this is the first one you've attended. And because you had business. Eh?
Yeah, this is the first actually. I just saw it on the Exclusive platform. I'm like, what's this again? M1 something. Anything M1 like this, I'll just quickly check my eyes. It's so good to be here, really. Thank you so much, ma.
This is Dr. Aisha, our Kwara State YDF coordinator, who is supposed to be doing expo.
Oh, that's good.
With her willing people, but she does not want to allow business see road. Allah has see road. I think you should go and meet Dr. K so that you can learn how to streamline both. You actually should sign up, Aisha.
It's really hard.
That's
for me, so I think I should learn. Yes, I shall. Yes, business, entrepreneurship, making money, investments. I've learned a lot.
We need a webinar on how we can invest in Nigeria. We need to make money.
For some of us that we know that we die here.
Okay. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much, ma.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zodo. Dr. Zodo has been with us, ma. Thank you so much, Dr. Zodo.
Good afternoon, ma. Thank you for coming.
Dr. Zodo, thank you, ma.
Dr. Aisha, Dr. Ekaite, Dr. Olivia,
Dr. Lillian, Dr. Patience, Dr. Glory.
My IP NYDF ma, Dr. Ogechi.
Dr. Elebio.
Okay,
And
how
people
far?
from the members of officers from the adopted health facilities. So I know you are here, you've listened to the comments, so please, let's step up.
Yeah, Dr. Patience, Dr. Ramia Pampa, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, moms.
Okay,
Dr. FB, thank
Dr.
you.
Ngozi.
Dr. Lillian, we need to block her at our side, so it's well with us. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we're bringing this to a close so we can go about our Saturday and weekend.
Yeah, so we need to, so many things to do. All right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Dr. Owa.
Ma,
I'm coming to you again. No.
Don't come home. Just stay your own because me, I get
it's
my
not
own for bank.
possible now.
Stay on.
It's not possible. I'm going to disturb you. Why? You heard them talking now. That's hear me. It has to happen.
You do your own now.
Oh, Dr. Owa, leave me now. Why are you doing like this?
Hey, the question when I asked, you never answer.
Which question you asked me? Okay, let me go back.
Go back to your chat. Bye-bye. End this thing. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.